What's up, fantasy sports fans? Billy D here. Welcome to the channel. Here we are, NFL Week 5 already. Wow, what a crazy season it's been. Here on No Limit Fantasy Sports, checking out the pricing. Week 5 top plays. Use my link below and get a 25% deposit bonus. Looking at the week, Aaron Rodgers right on top for QBs against Dallas. You gotta love that play. Dallas giving up a ton of fantasy points lately. Looking a little bit lost. They had that game wrapped up, and what happened, Dallas? You let me down. You let me down good. And we got Tom Brady played against Tampa Bay. Same story. Tampa Bay had that game. They let New York back in. And look at New England. Come back to tie the game and then lose to the long bomb field goal. I mean, it could happen to everybody. Personally, Tom Brady losing 2 games in a row? I don't think so. So I like that pick too. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, both solid picks. Matt Ryan is on a bye. Not sure why he's there. Drew Brees, love that play against Miami. Miami just made Jets quarterback McCowan look like Tom Brady. Not a fan of Miami's happenings whatsoever. So Drew Brees, another good play, great play. Russell Wilson against the Rams. The Rams didn't look so hot in the first half against Dallas or the game before against Hoyer. Then they kind of tightened things up. So Russell Wilson, you never know what you're going to get, but they don't have a running game. So maybe Russell Wilson does come up for a lot of points here. It's very possible. Dak Prescott against Dallas. You got to love that play. Green Bay gives up a ton of fantasy points in the passing game. Dallas probably going to be pretty upset with that loss last week. Look for them to bounce back. Carson Wentz against Arizona. Not a huge fan. Arizona getting their stuff together. Yes, no. They couldn't beat San Francisco. I mean, they couldn't even put a touchdown on the board. But the defense did look okay. Philadelphia down at running back now. Oh, Darren Sproles. Not much of a running back. I mean, more of a scat back. But anyways. Cam Newton against Detroit. I do not like this play whatsoever. I mean, yes, he scored a ton of fantasy points last week against the Patriots. The Patriots statistically have the worst defense in the league. I don't know if that'll stay together, but honestly, the first month of the season, they played horribly. They made Cam Newton look really good, and he just hasn't looked good at all. So, not a huge fan of that play. Kirk Cousins on bye. Big Ben playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville just dropped to the Jets. I mean, Jacksonville looked very good in the first 3 weeks, and then they just go ahead and lose to the Jets. I mean, what are the Jets now? Are you going to tell me the Jets are like the best team in the NFL? And then you got Antonio Brown. What happened there? The guy had a little diva moment, and all of a sudden the passing game was done, and it was the Le'Veon Bell show. It was kind of the Le'Veon Bell show the whole game. So I don't know about Ben against Jacksonville. I might fade the Steelers in this game. I don't know. Jacksonville, did they have an off game, the defense, or what's going on there? Did they just not show up? They all got drunk the night before because the Jets sucked. So, anyways. Mariota, questionable. He'll probably play against Miami. After wasn't that bad of an injury. They just, they didn't want him getting hurt. They were down big in the game. I mean, they beat Seattle pretty good, and then Houston. Who the heck is Houston? Stafford against Carolina. I do like the matchup, but at the same time, Detroit's offensive line looks horrible. Matt Stafford's taking sacks like crazy. So not really something I'm going to be looking for. Carolina, not the greatest defense, but who knows? We'll see what Stafford, typically against good teams, not the best quarterback ever. Carr is going to be out for this game, obviously. Deshaun Watson, here's a huge spike in price. Look at this guy, he's up to $6,200 in the price. I mean, after 2 weeks of 30-plus fantasy points, I understand why. Playing Kansas City, though. I mean, we'll see, right? Not much else to say about that. Kansas City does have a good defense. They did get scored on last game from Washington. Let's see what Houston can do. And Deshaun Watson at 6,200. I like the play, but I don't exactly love it. I love Deshaun Watson, but it's not like he's going to have a 30-point game every week. Eli Manning against the Chargers. I mean, one of these teams have got to win. The Chargers or the Giants, right? So what? Maybe they'll tie. They have Eli here projected for 16 points. The Chargers D isn't too great. So maybe Eli, nice little play. But I mean, Eli and Deshaun Watson, I bet a lot of people will be picking Watson. Andy Dalton, I do like this play. Now again, I picked Andy Dalton in week 1 and he burned me. But he's starting to find some weapons. They got that tight end Tyler Kroft he's liking. AJ Green, obviously unstoppable. Buffalo playing great ball. Beat Denver. Beat Atlanta. Now they're playing Cincinnati. They should handle this game. Then again, maybe that means Andy Dalton going to be throwing a lot more. So something keeping an eye on. Here might be the most popular play of the week. Jameis Winston against New England. Definitely one of my favorite plays of the week, I'll tell you that. New England's defense not looking great at all. Winston, I mean, I've picked Winston before in bad matchups and he's let me down a few times, so that kind of scares me. I've picked Winston before and he's gotten like 8 fantasy points on me. And Bill Belichick, I mean, obviously there's a problem. You know, when they're 2-1 and you got Tom Brady, you're like, all right, well, whatever. Defense is fine. But when you're 2-2 and you're Bill Belichick, you'd be like, all right, we gotta fix defense. So it's a risky play, but I do like the risk-reward benefits of this play. So for tournaments, Jameis Winston, you darn right, you'll find him in one of my lineups. Alex Smith, a.k.a. Tom Brady II, and playing Houston should be a great game. I don't know how many fantasy points he'll have, but just Alex Smith just playing great ball. Carson Palmer against Philly might be another great play, but I mean, Carson Palmer, I just don't trust him. Phillip Rivers against the Giants. The Giants looking horrible. Phillip Rivers not looking much better. Kind of a personal choice there. I like Phillip Rivers, but I don't know if I trust him against the Giants. Andrew Luck out yet again, so you'll see Jacoby Brissett in there against San Francisco. Might be a pretty decent play, but Carson Palmer didn't throw any touchdowns against San Francisco, and Jacoby Brissett didn't look too great against I mean, he looked okay against Seattle. Well, I mean, 2 pick sixes. I'm a little bitter about that. Those 2 pick sixes costed me quite a bit of money. I was playing Dan last week, and he had the Seattle defense, and I was up by 10 points, but he ended up beating me by 10 points because the Seattle defense got like 20 or something like that. Oh dear. Deshaun Kaiser playing the Jets should be a fantastic play. All systems go for that. And And then if you look on the other side of that, I love that play too. Jared Goff against Seattle. Cheap. Might be worth it. The Rams always give Seattle trouble. So you gotta keep that in mind. I don't think Seattle walks all over the Rams like the other team. You know, the Rams defense hasn't looked great, but they always look good against Seattle. So that's something to keep an eye out on. Denver on the bye. Case Keenum didn't look so hot last game. Playing Chicago though. Might be something a game a lot of people are going to overlook here. Case Keenum, obviously, whoever the Minnesota quarterback is, I don't really care. Chicago's defense not very good, let's put it that way. Minnesota without a running back now with Dalvin Cook going down. So we'll see how it works out for them. A lot of people expect Case Keenum's numbers to drop. I'm not one of them. Alrighty, we'll call it there. Plenty of plays to choose from. I mean, there's lots of quarterbacks to choose from. Running backs, Le'Veon Bell returns from the dead. Gets you 30, I don't even know, a lot of fantasy points, let's put it that way. Price reflects that, 9,500. He's the highest player on site. Playing Jacksonville. Dun dun dun. The Jets ran all over Jacksonville, but we'll see. Jacksonville pass defense is great, so I don't like Big Ben. Le'Veon Bell, I mean, you know what you're getting. High price, pretty high floor, right? I mean, a lot of people were joking about the first 3 weeks of the season. He's usually suspended, so that's why he didn't play well. And now it actually counts. So now it's good to play Le'Veon Bell from now on. We won't play him in the first 3 weeks. All right. Secondly, we have Zeke against Green Bay. I love this play. Just keep an eye on the court case. See what happens there. Is he going to be suspended? Not suspended? Something to keep an eye on. I love the play though. Green Bay giving up fantasy points wherever they are needed. And Zeke had about 30 of them last week. Alright. Next up, we got Kareem Hunt. You guys know what it is there. You guys are a monster playing Houston. Houston, great defense versus Kansas City. We'll all be expecting low-scoring game. It'll end up being 35-33. But I love Kareem Hunt in this play. Especially a little bit under Zeke, and he catches the ball, right? So that's something you gotta pay attention to. Zeke is primarily a runner, not a pass catcher, and in PPR, right? That's why David Johnson was such a deadly force in PPR, because he caught, 5 balls a game. Same thing here with Gurley, right? He catches the ball now. They're playing Seattle. Seattle typically great defense, pass defense anyways, so Gurley might get a lot of action. Price is high on him, but with all these guys, it's kind of a high risk, high reward, right? You pay up that big price, you expect your guys to deliver, right? And when they don't, it kind of ruins your team. That kind of happened to me last week with Antonio. I picked Antonio Brown, and like I said, he had a little diva moment. Ended up with 7.8 points. It's terrible. LaShawn McCoy for Buffalo against Cincinnati. Cincinnati, great run defense. But Shady hasn't been doing a whole lot this year. He's been getting you, 13, 14, 15 points. A little bit under expectation. At least he's consistent at it. Ty Montgomery, questionable against Dallas. Look for them. They used a lot of Joe Williams. I'm not sure if they're going to bring up anybody new, but Joe Williams looked okay. And if the price is cheap, I'd go there. If Montgomery's in, I don't know. I didn't pick him last week. I kind of knew he was banged up a little bit, so I didn't. And I don't know if he's any better now. Devontae Freeman is on bye. Leonard Fournette against Pittsburgh. I like it. Fournette's proven that he's pretty darn good player. Let's put it that way. And Pittsburgh's proven they can be run on. 7,000, kind of in the second tier pricing. Carlos, I do like it though. I like this play, Leonard Fournette. Carlos Hyde, questionable. That's kind of the story all the time. If he's active against Indianapolis, you kind of got to play him, right? Indianapolis D, we see what it is and what it's not. They were great, and then in the fourth quarter, it was just, yeah, kind of. They kept them in that Seattle game for a while, but that's about it. Jay Ajayi, I mean, pretty much you just got to guess what game is going to go off. Is it going to be against Tennessee? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? I'm going to wait till it's priced about $5,000, then I'll pick him up. David Johnson, yeah, okay. Let's play David Johnson. He's out for the season. Bilal Powell having a great year. Playing Cleveland, guys. I love this play. Look at the price, though. $6,200. I might pick up Cleveland's bag. One play I do like, we probably won't get to it, but Duke Johnson, he had 21 fantasy points last week. Nobody really talks about him. Great player. They're giving him the ball a ton. Also Isaiah Crowell, right? Against, I mean, he hasn't produced yet, but he's just waiting for that week, and he's playing the Jets. He's a starting running back. You'd want to go with him. Melvin Gordon falling down the fantasy ranks down to 6K. Playing the Giants, you gotta love it. Christian McCaffrey for Carolina. Playing Detroit, he could have a great game as well. C.J. Anderson by Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard didn't have the greatest game, but he is a great running back. Price is cheap on him too. The usage is great. Playing Minnesota, that's kind of scary, but who knows? Minnesota's falling apart at the helm. Just injury after injury. And back from suspension, we have Doug Martin against the Patriots. 5,500. Doug Martin has proven he can run for 200 yards in a game, no problem. New England has proven they can give up 200 yards in a game, no problem. So this could be a great play. We'll see how much they use him this week. Joe Mixon playing Buffalo. Buffalo, great defense. And Joe Mixon getting a little bit more carries every week. Keith Marshall for Washington. Oh, come on. DeMarco Murray looking great. Gets to play against Miami. Here's another nice play. I like picking these running backs in the 5,000s. Then I can pick better wide receivers. Mike Gillislee against Tampa Bay. I mean, he's going to get the end zone touches. You got to love that. Chris Thompson having an outstanding season. Rob Kelly banged up again, so playing Kansas City, he'll get some touches. There's going to be some third downs. So look for him to get a couple points. I like that. Beast mode on playing Baltimore. I haven't really figured out Oakland. I faded them last week. I actually picked the Broncos defense. They got me 9 points. Pretty good. Oakland just not looking great. Now with Derek Carr out, who is this team? Saw what happened last year when when Carr went down. Wasn't too great. Jamal Williams, questionable for Green Bay. Who the heck is going to run the ball in Green Bay? That is a great question. Against Dallas. I mean, if the guy is like, they got to give the ball to somebody. Otherwise, you're just picking up Aaron Rodgers because they're going to throw it every down they have. All right, yeah, we got Rakowski, right? They got the fullback. He might have a great game. 3,000, real cheap. This might be a very good play. Picking up Rakowski. Just like no points from any of the backs. Alright, here we go. Aaron Jones. So you got the 9 here. They're projecting him to be the back. They got Ty Montgomery at 6, but he's questionable. Who knows if he's playing or not. So, interesting plays. Personally, I like Rakowski at 3,000. Seems like a pretty good play. I like Aaron Rodgers. He's been around for a while. They love him. Alright, wide receivers. Julio Jones. Look at the Qs. The top two guys questionable. Julio Jones, Odell Beckham Jr. I expect Odell Beckham Jr. to play. I mean, he's got a little ankle injury, a little finger injury. He's always kind of banged up. Oh, they're putting it as a finger injury. He dislocated his finger. I'm sure he'll get better for the weekend. Playing the Chargers, that could be a deadly play right there. Julio Jones, another story. I mean, this guy's always banged up. We'll see what his practice schedule is during the week. Welcome to the Julio Jones Show. One of the best players in fantasy football when he plays. Antonio Brown, gonna be hard to pick him up after last week. And plus they're playing Jacksonville, so it'll be a tough matchup for him. AJ Green, I like it against Buffalo. Buffalo, great defense, all kinds of pressure. Probably gonna make Andy Dalton look silly. AJ Green's gonna get that ball. He does every week. 8,200, I like it. Jordy Nelson, you gotta love him. Playing Dallas, not the greatest defense. And Jordy, 2 touchdowns last week and didn't even look like he broke a sweat. Mike Evans against New England, you gotta be all about this play. Mike Evans gets a ton of targets. DeAndre Hopkins playing Kansas City. I mean, you figure like if you're scared of playing Hopkins against the Kansas City defense, you're gonna play Will Fuller. Good. Like, he had a great game last week. How much is he this week? I don't even know. Let's check that out. Go to Houston. Will Fuller right here. 4,400. I mean, that's an option. Do you know Deshaun Watson's gonna have? They're gonna have to throw the ball somewhere. I mean, I like Hopkins. The guy's getting just an obscene amount of targets. Then we got Brandon Cooks. Didn't do a whole lot last week. Playing against Tampa Bay this week. Should bounce back. Have a nice week. Michael Thomas. Quietly having himself a little bit of a great season. He started off slowly the first 2 games, and then he's proven to be Drew Brees' favorite target. Playing against Miami. I love that. I just picked to make sure that it was working. Michael Thomas coming on team. Stephon Diggs, quietly last week, playing against Chicago. Look out! Like, these are gonna be these sneaky plays if you get on these Minnesota guys and it hits. It's gonna be big risk, big reward. Diggs one of them, Thielen the other. Keenan Allen playing New York. Lovely play. 7,200. He's always 7,200. They don't project him at a lot of points. This is on Eli Apple or whatever cornerback he'll be on. Very high rated, just not playing very well. Are the Giants. You got Doug Baldwin, Russell Wilson's favorite target, playing against the Rams. Going to be a great play. 7,000. These guys aren't projected to score points, but they probably will. Larry Fitzgerald playing Philly. This could be a great play too. If, like I said, if Carson Palmer could throw the ball to the player, he's actually. Well, I mean, I don't even know what Carson Palmer's doing sometimes. He just throws the ball to the other team, and it's like, why? Were you throwing there? Anyways, I don't like Arizona at all without David Johnson. I love Larry Fitzgerald. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like his quarterback too much. Tyreek Hill, awesome player, playing Houston. Might still have a great game. Randall Cobb having a nice season playing Dallas. Devontae Parker. I mean, can you play any of the Miami guys? I just don't know. Dez Bryant, look how cheap he is. 6,500 playing Green Bay, the #1 receiver. Like, he should have a great game. And this guy is very low priced. you know, he's a top tier guy. He's just not having a great season. 6,500. Consider putting him on my team. Crabtree. Questionable. Wouldn't want to mess with Baltimore anyways. They don't have great offense, but they got a great defense. Demaryius Thomas had an off game last week. Gonna have an off game this week because he's not playing. Pierre Garçon, look for him to bounce back against Indianapolis. This guy will be on my team for sure. Price 6,100. Hoyer looks for this guy like nonstop. And when I say he'll be on my team for sure, we'll see how Vontae Davis is. Vontae Davis is a pretty good cornerback, getting up there in age, but he's pretty good. Hogan, like I love how all these cheap guys, you know, used to get deals on, and now they're all high price. So it's like, who's the new cheap guy? Who's the new cheap guy, right? T.Y. Hilton against San Francisco, right? Here's another sneaky play at 6,000. I'd like to see that a little cheaper though. Devontae Adams. I mean, is he going to be the one to have the big game against Dallas? So, one of these Packers are going to have a big game. Alshon Jeffrey quietly, he's catching a couple balls here and there. Jarvis Landry, Amari Cooper, both of them just dropping right down the price ranges, under 6K. Funchess had himself a game last week. Devin Funchess, high price for him. Richard Matthews. Terrell Pryor finally getting something going with Kirk Cousins. That's great news. Willie Snead getting in back into the thick of things. Out. Hamstring. Oh, is he injured now? Oh, that's fantastic. And by fantastic, I mean terrible. Great for Coleman, though. Playing the slot in New Orleans. I haven't seen him yet up here. There's one of the cheap guys. Oh, there he is. No, that's Corey Coleman. Sanu questionable. Keep an eye on Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu. Not sure which one of these guys is going to play for Atlanta against Buffalo. But if Julio's out, you got like at least 10 targets going somewhere else, right? So, something to keep in mind. Brandon Marshall finally had a game with the Giants. Tyler Lockett, if you picked him up last week, somebody picked him up last week. I think I mentioned he might have a great game, and he sure did. It's awesome. Playing the Rams this week, I mean, here's Jermaine Kearse. Playing Cleveland. Here's another play for the Jets. Might be great. The Jets don't really have anybody. They got Jermaine Kearse though. In Cleveland, not really stopping anybody. Alright, so that's tons of plays there. Tight ends. I mean, you got Gronk. You gotta love him. You got Ertz. You gotta love him. You got Kelsey. You gotta love him. You know. Jimmy Graham is still a high price for no reason. Charles Clay, I mentioned it last week. I told you I loved him. I picked him up. He got you a ton of fantasy points. Love him again this week. I don't really care. Charles Clay is my tight end all season long. It's just Tyrod Taylor's favorite target. You can't go wrong there. Delaney Walker, great play. Greg Olsen, great play. Jason Witten, great play. Martellus Bennett. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is trying to get him going, but it's just not happening. Dallas is not the greatest team against tight ends, though, so interesting play. Evan Ingram, I like him. The price is reflective his play. He's pretty high now. Jared Cook, I like him. Playing Baltimore, not so much, and I definitely don't like him without Derek Carr. Vernon Davis. He's on a bye. Cameron Brate. Price skyrocketed. I liked him last week too. Kind of tough in that Tampa Bay tight ends. You got two of them, so which one's going to get the touchdowns? In the red zone, though, they like Cameron Brate, so that's great. Jack Doyle questionable. Keep an eye on that situation. You know, he's been playing really poorly this year, so it's kind of hard to pick him. That's the thing. Sometimes players just play poorly, and so you're like, oh, I'm not picking him. And then they explode for like 40 fantasy points. You're like, I want to pick him. Tyler Croft, Andy Dalton's new best friend. Tyler Eifert II. Keep an eye on him this week. I like him. I mean, they're playing Buffalo, so tough matchup to pick him in, but I still like him. Ryan Griffin let you down last week, which is hilarious because they threw for 5 touchdowns, and he just didn't, you know, score. So it's kind of disappointing, but what are you gonna do? That's the way it goes sometimes. Jesse James for Pittsburgh against Jacksonville. Might be a good play. Jesse James or Vance McDonald, whichever way you want to go there. I kind of like both those plays. Njoku against the Jets might be a good play as well. Cheap one. Zach Miller fell off the map. They're not passing to him, so watch. He'll have a good game. Here's Vance McDonald, like I said. Gresham for Arizona against Philly might be a good play. Who knows? You never know. What I do know is Zach Ertz is like third leading. He's got third most targets in the NFL among not just tight ends, among wide receivers too. So you gotta love that. Kickers, anybody's guess. No, Greg Zuerlein booted 6 through last week, so here he is on top, right? Who was Greg Zuerlein playing last week? The Cowboys. So I'm thinking Mason Crosby is my kicker this week. Lutz had a horrible week, and that's no good because he was one of my locked and loaded plays for the season. Gostowski, I mean, you can't go wrong with him. Matt Prater having a great season. I mean, pretty much he's got to pick a good kicker that can boot it from over 50. And stay away from the guys that can't boot it from an extra point. Like, if your kicker misses an extra point, no, just kick him off the team. Here's a great play right here. Adam Vinatieri, 117 years old, 17 Super Bowls, and playing against San Francisco. You know, he's accurate. He can kick it for 50. Great player, great play, love it. And San Francisco just gave up 4 field goals last week against Arizona, so nice little play. All right, defenses this week. So who's playing Indianapolis? No. That is going to be one. I will do that. I know that San Francisco's at the bottom. This is what I love doing. I love going to the bottom for defense and trying to pick out which team's going to just get me a touchdown. Look, both the Packers and the Cowboys are on the bottom, meaning this game's going to be high scoring. And neither of those quarterbacks throw many picks. Bucks against the Patriots, the Saints against Miami. This might be a good play right here. The Saints against Miami. The Saints D looked pretty good recently, and Miami's offense did not look pretty good recently. And here's another great play. Like I said, the 49ers against Indy, or vice versa, Indy against the 49ers. Which way you want to go there? I like both those plays. All right, now let's go back up to the top here. We'll pick some of these top plays. Steelers having a great year playing Jacksonville, though. Not so sure. The Vikings against Chicago should be good to go, but who knows? Chicago going to show up or not? The Giants against the Chargers. I never like picking against the Chargers because those guys know how to drop. Those guys know how to drop 50 points on you. It's irritating. Seattle, the defense woke up last week. I mean, it was against Indy, but it was just the game they needed. And now they're playing the Rams. the Rams the most explosive offensive team in the NFL at the moment, and Seattle the fourth highest priced defense. I do not like it. I got to be honest. But these games when they play, always tough matchups, so it should be a great game. I'll fade that, even though Seattle put 20 points up last week against me. Cincinnati Bengals playing Buffalo. I don't like that either. Detroit, Carolina, that might be a great play right here. Everybody's going to be fading this one after Cam's great week. Who's going to pick against him? I might. Buffalo on a bye. Oh yeah, so I guess my whole Julio Jones, watch out for that situation. They'll be back in 2 weeks because of the bye, so I wouldn't worry about it now. I don't like Philly against Arizona. Their secondary's depleted. Yes, they got Cleveland up here. It's awesome. Cleveland against the Jets. I mean, no. The Patriots, I mean, they should be at the bottom. I mean, Tampa Bay is going to score. Like, geez. Interesting. All right, so that's about it for my plays of the week, guys. Like I said, No Limit Fantasy Sports. Check it out. Sign up. Use my link. 25% deposit bonus. Good luck to everybody this week. If you want extra advice, please make a donation. Inbox me. I'll give you my top plays again, my top 5 plays at each position. I'll make you one of my cash. I'll give you one of my cash game lineups, sleepers, tournament plays, you name it. All right, and so far I'm pretty sure the people that have asked for my advice are undefeated in cash games and tournament plays. Alright, so we will see you later in the week. I'm going to be making a DRAFTKINGS Millionaire Maker lineup in a bit here. No Limit Fantasy Sports, check it out. I'm on Facebook, definitely want to see that with all the injury updates. And good luck to everybody. Take it easy.